Many thanks for joining me today on the marketplace. Now, Ghanaian businesses would soon be able to list and raise funds from the London Stock Exchange. This follows the signing of a technical partnership program between the Ghana Stock Exchange and the London Stock Exchange. The deal would also help develop the Ghana bond market and assist local firms to raise a lot of more long-term funds from the international market. George Rafe has more from the Ghana Investment and Opportunity Summit in London.
To the Finance Minister, Ken Ofori-Atta, they will not destroy the gains that they've chalked over the past years just because they want to win an election. He maintained that they are committed in putting in place the right business programs, policies and measures to stabilize the environment and also ensure that we improve the business environment for local businesses as well as those foreign capital that we are attracting to the country. Speaking at the same program, Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Ernest Addison, maintained that they really had to undertake the recent financial sector cleanup to bring about the required confidence in the banking sector.
I think that through the resolution exercise that we went through, resolving banks that were not functioning properly. Today, all the banks that are licensed in Ghana are liquid. There are no issues of customers not being able to access their deposits in the banks. In addition to that, some of the banks that were resolved, the government has had to provide resources to pay out, deposits that were locked up in those weak banks, and the receiver is currently, meeting up with those payments. These things impact people's lives directly, and I think Ghanaians are better off today because of those types of interventions that were put into place.
For many, Day one of the Ghana Investment and Opportunity Summit can indeed be described as an interesting one, looking at the deals that we've already signed. One can talk about the London Stock Exchange and the Ghana Stock Exchange partnership that they've reached in terms of technical cooperation and assisting Ghanaian businesses to explore the opportunities of listing on the London Stock Exchange. Also, the Ghana Exim Bank, Mr. Jinsan, has also been expressing to us what they've done with respect to the deal that they've clinched with the Swiss Bank in terms of supporting it with some $100 million for businesses under the 1D, 1F factory. Mr. Jinsan has also been talking to us about the deal that they've claimed with the Swiss Bank in terms of supporting it to roll out more factories under the One District, One Factory initiative.
For Ghana Exim Bank to be able to complete most of the One District, One Factory project that we've started, and also more importantly, the new ones or the districts that have not been able to see some of these One District, One Factory initiatives will then begin to see them.
From the Hilton Hotel here in Park Avenue in London, this is George Rafe reporting for Joy Business.
And back here in Accra, he's been polishing cars of presidents for ceremonial purposes over the years. For a presidential car polishing treat, you may have to part with about 1,500 Ghana cedis. Emmanuel Awume says this detailing could be done in 2 days or more. My colleague Odilia Ntiamwa was at his workshop and says the 72 hours of polishing your car for close to 2,000 cedis is worth the service.
Come to the workshop of Cecil Ventures, the man that actually details the cars of president. This detailing could give you, the spark that you're looking for, even if you have not sprayed your car. So guess what? What's happening right behind me is just steaming the engine, making sure that water is not going into it. Cecil, exactly what's going on here right now?
Okay, currently what is going on is the steam engine detailing. Now, most of the electronic engines these days are very sensitive to water. So you don't want to use water to clean the engine that could damage it. And so what happens is when you use the steam, because it is hot steam that is being emitted, as it cleans, it evaporates the water at the same time. So you don't seem to have water settling to soak into any electronic component that could cause any damage to the engine.
So if your mechanic washes your car engine at 30 Ghana cedis and leaves you with a damaged part, then for 300 cedis with steam, you are better off. Did you know that the bacteria in your car is more than that on your toilet seat? So when you do this kind of super detailing for the car, so for a car like this,
yes,
how much is it going to go for?
Yeah, it's going for about 350 Ghana cedis, between 350 to 650, depending on the dirt condition.
Yeah.
Now, the reason being that in the steam we use, it doesn't only clean, but we also disinfect, especially the interior of the car. Now, the interior of the car, research has proven that keeps bacteria more than, excuse my language, the toilet seat.
What's he doing now?
Okay, now he is cleaning the air conditioned vents. Now you realize that in the air conditioned vents, you will not be able to have access of cleaning. And so the steam aids in cleaning the air conditioned vent. Okay, and so once the steam is directed in there, because of the chemicals in the steam, it's able to clean within the air conditioned vent. And also cleaning up the seats and any part of the interior as is going on currently.
Emmanuel has been doing this business for 30 years and already he's been detailing presidential cars starting from President Kufuor up to today, President Akufo-Addo's car. You also do some detailing for very high profile people. Tell us about that.
So in the course of my services, I was recommended by a man who came from the US and was coming to detail the president, that was President Kufuor's official vehicle. And so in the process of getting him done, he needed a team to support him get a job done. And so my company was recommended to him as a support team to try and get the presidential ceremonial vehicles done. And so we were there to help in detailing ex-President Kufuor's official vehicle. And then because of the way we professionally handled it, we were recommended to state protocol. And for almost a decade now, we have been responsible for the ceremonial vehicles detailing of the presidency. So usually on the 6th of March, the cars our president sits in and then wave at us and all that. That beauty of the car, that has been my handiwork and my team, yes.
This has not been a rosy journey though. I know you've had some down moments as an entrepreneur.
Yes.
You've been doing this for over 20 years.
Yes.
Tell us about your down moments.
So, in the course of expanding, on one of my branches, I had a challenge with the landlord. Apparently, we had a verbal agreement to pay 300 Ghana cedis for 2 years in advance. And so based on that verbal agreement, of which a documentation will be done later, I went to the bank and took some bank loan to support my internally generated funds to establish one of the branches, which became very, very, which had the international standard, of course. You know, but interestingly, after I invested so hugely, about 40,000 Ghana cedis around 2008 into the project, this said landlord came up to say he was now taking me $500 for 2 years. All right. He actually invited me to his office, handed a document to me, and upon going through the document, then I saw the figures. And I said, no, I think this is a typo. That was not what we originally agreed upon. You know, but he insisted that he doesn't rent his property less than $500. So I was compelled to pay for that. Now, I couldn't have that money because it wasn't part of my original budget. And so he asked that I pay for the number of months I had stayed on the property. That was a year and some few months. And so whatever I had was used to pay off that, and he gave me 3 months to fold up if I'm unable to pay for the rest balance for the 2 years.
How does that affect you as a business?
I lost everything because whatever I had, I used it to pay him and I had to pay the banks.
Having been an entrepreneur for 30 years, Emmanuel Awume has a few nuggets for startups, and this includes getting higher education.
In fact, in the midst of the challenges, what I realized was there were some mistakes I made in terms of expansion. I was over exuberant and expanded too quick without looking critically to my finances. there should have been the situation where I should have considered having a buffer to support the business. And then within the phase of the bankruptcy session, which is the 4-year phase, I did not waste it. I pushed myself into school. And so I brought in a partner who had to come and stand in for me. And so whatever money I was making in bits and pieces, I was using it to finance my education.
Our car is now ready for some premium washing. For those who wash cars with soap and sponge, open your ears.
That is on every corner of the vehicle and makes it easier to rinse. And then you have a very excellent finished look of your paintwork. Now,
so what kind of chemical is it?
We call it the snow foam. So it has the inherent products that dissolves dirt and it makes it easier for removing dirt from the paint surface. Now, the paint surface is very sensitive to dirt. And so any dirt particle that is on the paint surface whilst you clean can leave a scratch on the surface of the paint. So this product tends to be able to remove every dirt completely off the surface of the paint. And so once you clean and rinse this car, it looks that good.
So instead of using soap on your car?
On your car, professionally, because it's a professional product. So once you visit professional detailers, they'll be able to use this in aid of detailing your car for you to have that excellent showroom finish. So you can use the soap, the regular car shampoo as well, but when you want to have that professional finish to your car, you want to see the professional detailer to apply some of the professional products in making your car look good.
It takes close to 1 hour to just clean the rims.
What is going on now is the rim detailing process. Now he's going to do that and as well go underneath the vehicle to detail the other side of it after he had sprayed a rim cleaner product. Now what happens is the brake dust that is emitted from the application of brakes tends to form a cloth of lining on the rim surface. And so it gets stuck such that no amount of regular cleaning can eliminate it and remove it. So you need a process of application of a chemical, and part of the process he's going through to be able to dissolve that stuck stain chemicals, okay, that has been stuck on the rim, clean it up, and then the whole rim come out as though it's new again. So any stain left on the rim surface is removed. And so you can imagine what he's going through. This is going to take him about an hour, to be able to detail all the 4 rims.
You were telling me about the fact that this particular car owner
Yes.
is going for a platinum package.
Exactly.
Tell me about that and tell me exactly why you're taking as much as 1,200.
This car owner brought this car for a platinum detailing service. Now, what the platinum detailing service does is it reconditions the car back close to that original showroom condition of the vehicle. All right, and so in a process like that, sometimes you need about 36 hours of work, 72 hours of work, depending on the dirt condition of the vehicle. This, for instance, is going to take about 48 hours of work, and so you have to detail primarily every unique part of this vehicle, from the rims down to the underneath, body, the trim cleanup, and like you saw earlier what we did with the interior. Those are part of the processes in getting the platinum detailing service done. And once you get that done, you also want to correct the paintwork. Now, the paint doesn't seem to shine as it should. It has lost its glossy look. And so in a situation like this, you don't need to respray the car. We have a process that we call compounding, right? Once we compound the car, we are able to wax finish it and give you that glossy paint that was originally on the car without you spraying it.
Time to compound wash to correct all the problems with the paint on the car as a result of washing with the wrong materials.
Now, when you take a critical look on the paint surface, you realize some hazy conditions of it. The gloss effect cannot be well seen.
Yeah, I can see that, obviously.
Exactly. So we call that oxidation.
Okay.
And this has occurred as a result, one, because of the ultraviolet rays effect on the paintwork.
So what are you about to do now?
So what we're going to do now is we're going to compound polish the paintwork. Now, the compound, usually, most often people mistake waxing to be the only way you need to shine your paint work. And you only do wax when the paint surface is still intact, looking good, but you just want to dress it up. Like just taking a shower and want to use a pomade on your body. That is how you apply wax. But then the compounding corrects the problems on the paint surface. And so currently, we're going to do a compound polish that is going to correct the problems on the paint surface before we apply the wax.
So the wax gives it the extra shine and finish?
Yes, and coating. So it coats to seal the correction. And then gives it the gloss and shine back. So once you apply the wax, it becomes like a layer, a film layer that you've laid on top of the paint surface that protects it from the direct ultraviolet rays effect on the paint. So when you want to find out whether a car has been waxed or not, there are two approaches to it. One is the visual identification. So now when you take a close look, you can see that this side looks a bit hazy as against that side. If the camera gets close, it should see it. The second approach is with the professionals, you just run a finger. Now, you run a finger here. So you try it out and see the effect.
Yeah, this side is smooth and this is
Sticky.
It's quite sticky. Yeah,
Exactly.
That's true.
Exactly. So these are some of it. So that tells you that there's a film of layer that has been placed on the surface of the paint to protect it.
Emmanuel's company under the Cecil brand says it's time to impact.
Now, having been in this industry for 30 years, my entire entrepreneurial journey has been 30 years, but focusing on car detailing has been 20 years exactly this year. And so I felt I've gotten to the stage where I want to impact knowledge. Much of the experiences I've gotten through the entrepreneurial journey, I want to impact the next generation, startup entrepreneurs, prospective entrepreneurs within the corporate and public sector. You know, most people in there, some of them have entrepreneurial ideas, but the fear of job insecurity and financial insecurity tends to keep them in there. And by the time they go on pension, they realize that they've not been able to achieve and accomplish their main dream objectives.
The car is now ready, and oh, what a beauty.
Or still staying on automobiles, and the National Insurance Commission has directed all owners of vehicle insurance and insurance companies who provide motor insurance to end the issuance of manual insurance stickers. Now, a letter written to the players and cited by Joy Business stated that insurance and brokerage firms are to sign onto the NIC's motor insurance database or risk facing sanctions. The Chartered Insurance Institute of Ghana has been championing this digitization agenda for some time now. I have with me in the studio the president of the CIIG, Reverend Asante Mafwa-Hinkra, in the studio here to talk about this directive. Reverend, you're welcome to the marketplace.
Thank you very much.
Now, so what does this latest directive actually mean?
Well, we have had a system where we've issued manual stickers that are supposed to be displayed on vehicles.
Okay.
But the NIC and the industry as a whole had always wanted to have this database because of the benefits they bring. And so over the period, some work has been done, and we think that it's high time we move into that. Basically, the whole world over, everything is now, from banking, financial services, is digital. So it's a means of making things easier, faster, and things so that we can also check. Because when it comes to manual, people can easily duplicate, people can easily copy and whatnot. But all the world over, that's where we're moving, and we are even behind because other countries have gone this way a long time ago. So
now, you don't think the timeline given, I mean, the directive state that it should have started yesterday, actually.
Yeah.
You think there shouldn't have been some kind of more education to vehicle owners to understand exactly how they would implement the system?
Yeah, the implementation is basically with the players, not necessarily with the owners, because they would then come in and they would come to the insurance companies to get their stickers or to brokers to get their stickers. Okay. So they don't have much to do, actually. It's the same system of paying for your insurance premium. Once you do that, it's more of the paperwork that is now digital. In other words, you need to key in the details and allow the computer to generate, unlike previously where manually we write everything on paper and hand that sticker to you to go along with.
So it means that it removes all those middlemen that hitherto facilitated the process?
Yeah, basically it's not removing them, but we used to have a situation where there are a lot of fake sticker certificates being issued. I want to have a system where authorities can check. Okay. And remove, because you could be given a sticker and you think you are insured or your vehicle is insured, but or you may join. Fake one. It may be fake. And something happens and then you don't have cover. Who do you blame? Is it the NIC because they've not regulated the insurance company and checked some of these abuses? Is it insurance? Is it the public? Is it government? So what it is that it's going to help all of us have a system of checking abuse.
But have you considered, some kind of challenges also associated with this digital system, because computerized and internet services themselves could be a challenge, a big challenge. Yeah. How do you overcome that?
It's always a challenge. I mean, I would sit here and new things are challenging. Some of us are not that knowledgeable in this, in this use of digital gadgets and whatnot. But we've come to realize that that's where the world is going. So we've all got to learn one way or the other. And so there are going to be challenges. I'm not going to sit here and think there wouldn't be. But we think that it's always a process. And so the NIC and the industry will have to work together to make sure we do a seamless work and make sure that the public is unaffected.
But Reverend, there are also some concerns that, through this digitization system, the NIC would like to interfere with the price regime so that eventually they fix a common price throughout for all insurance companies or brokerage firms to actually adhere to. What's your take on this?
Yeah, basically, typically, if we have a very good
tariff
system, we shouldn't even be tariffed. But NIC or the commission has an obligation to make sure that adequate premiums are collected, and so that it will enable insurers to pay claims, because ultimately it's for the benefit of the policyholder. And so in our market for motor insurance, we have what we call a tariff market. The tariffs are determined not by the NIC. It's determined by the industry, the players, who come up with how much we're going to charge. So the NIC virtually endorses what the industry has agreed upon. But invariably, when they come together and agree upon that, you have situations where some companies go behind, or brokers go behind and then charge lower than what has been agreed on by the industry. And that's what we call undercutting, because then you go behind and then you offer terms that are lower than what is required.
But is that not what a deregulated kind of system, requires?
Exactly so.
People can fix their own.
When I started, I said if we were doing the right practices, tariff will not apply in our markets. But unfortunately, we have a situation where it's not tariffed. And let's remember that third-party motor insurance is compulsory. And governments want us to do that to make sure that if somebody gets hurt, and he may not be a car user, he may be a passenger, a pedestrian, he can get compensation. So that line between the third-party motor insurance and the comprehensive has been drawn. So the third parties, it's something that we need to collect adequately to be able to fulfill that mandate. When it comes to comprehensive or own damage, it's between you and the person who's come to insure, the insurer and the person. And so they can determine the terms. And if the terms are not good enough, you can reject. If not, you accept.
So lastly, before you go, there are also some concerns that the NIC wants to withdraw that kind of, discounted claim system where periodically when you go to renew your license in your insurance, you get some discounts for comprehensive, for third-party insurance insurance policies.
Yes, that is correct. We used to have discounts on third party as well. Currently, the discounts, as the directive goes, affects the comprehensive or the own damage, but it doesn't affect the third party. That is a ruling of the NIC because they felt it was too much, and people were ridiculously, taking about 30% of the time.
Reverend Mafo Ahenkwa is the president of the Chartered Insurance Institute of Ghana. And that's it for the Marketplace. Many thanks for watching. My name is Emmanuel Boaji. We have a good afternoon.